Welcome to the Soccer Universe after a little bit of a hiatus. It's good to see you guys again. How's it going?
I'm happy. I mean, I was supporting England in the Euros, but I mean, it's not my country. They stole everything from India. They kind of hate India. I mean, without them, India would be much better. So it's fine. They lost, but and Italy gives you pizza. Who doesn't like pizza?
Yeah,
But yeah, it's kind of sad what happened to like Rashford, Sancho, Saka after the match. Like, not kind of sad. It's very pissing off, right? But yeah, it's fair. England lost, big deal.
I mean, Southgate is at fault for that, right? You sub these guys on with no like time to warm up or get any like contact with the ball.
Yes.
At like 70th minute, I was raging. I was genuinely, I was watching the game with my friends. Oh, by the way, my parents got so pissed at me that night because my parents were trying to sleep. But that's beside the point.
I can
But
imagine you watching like a soccer game like dead of night. It's like basement or something.
but yeah, I was so pissed. It just Southgate really that never mind. We'll get to it. Fran, you haven't said a word yet.
Oh, no, I just imagine how smug Southgate must have been feeling just as the game ended before the penalties. And he was like, well, I just brought on my two secret weapons. We're gonna win this. They have no match against they're no match against us. And then Donnarumma saves like two penalties. Rashford misses it up the post. I mean, bro, calm down. Like better to have a warmed up player shooting a penalty than someone who hasn't played in two games.
And
Forget hasn't played, right? He had no time to let his ball or let his foot actually touch the ball. How can you let him shoot a game deciding penalty at that point?
also, like, I really like Bukayo Saka, and he has had a very good tournament. But I genuinely believe he was not the right guy to bring on, given the circumstances, given what you need. He was really not the right guy to bring on because he knew he was going to bring on Jack Grealish at some point in the game. Like he knew that.
Yeah.
Just bring him on earlier, give him a chance. During the time when Jack Grealish was on the pitch, he did more than most of the players did during the entire game after the first goal. And I feel like his in-game management really reminded me of like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I've said that so many times. I really believe that like both of them, Oli and Gareth Southgate, are great managers when it comes to managing players, right? In terms of like, I can make sure that this player is motivated, like man management. Basically, they're pretty decent at it. I could even call them world class at it. But when it comes to in-game management, tactical like nuance and strategic thinking, they are mediocre at best.
Mm.
So,
At
so
best, yeah.
at best, exactly. So, like, I would say Southgate peaked in the Germany game, but the tactics he employed were pretty obvious. Like, if he didn't do that, that would have been the stupidest decision in his entire life, even worse than the in-game management in this. Because it was any manager in his shoes would have done that. So it's not like, oh, Southgate, oh my god, crazy. So if you want to deal with two fullbacks who destroyed back four at Portugal, you put two fullbacks in. No, I mean that's obvious. Anyone should be doing that. It's not genius, that he's done that. He doesn't deserve a 4 year contract extension, 3 year contract extension on the basis of one game against Germany when he's only played like weak teams. Italy was Italy and Germany are the only two like strong teams he's played in major tournaments, right? Like big
Yeah, I
strong.
agree.
And he's lost to Croatia, he's lost to Italy, and he won against Germany. I strong kudos for winning against Germany. Okay, before we move on, our predictions, guys. What happened there?
Awful. We missed the mark entirely.
Fran, I was expecting 8 out of 8. Like I thought we were bang on.
I thought so too. But we did say, I feel like while we were explaining our predictions, we said smart stuff. It's just that we arrived at the wrong predictions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like we
yeah,
were
yeah.
talking about how what was the big underdog game? I
Which
forget. I
one?
don't remember. But we talked about how oh man, see that this is a problem. I don't remember the tournament anymore. We did them wrong. We were bad. Uh, yes. I don't know what to say, man.
Wait, what are you referencing, Brand?
I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Like the night before yesterday, it's still with him.
It's still setting in.
It's still
Oh, yeah,
settled.
it is.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten over it yet. It's
I didn't tell you what happened, right, Archie?
I'm curious.
Right. So I woke up, I went to a friend's house, right? We had wine and stuff. And I woke up on the other side of Sao Paulo, someone's couch at like 12 p.m. And I was like, what the hell am I doing with my life? You know?
So you're just on an entirely different person's house just out of nowhere.
Yeah. But I made it back safe and everything's okay now. My mind is clearly not, but it's okay.
You woke up at a friend's place, which is good.
Yes.
Oh, wait, what kind of wine?
Huh?
What kind of wine?
Red wine.
Important question.
Is red? Like, do you know?
I don't know anything about wine.
Fair enough, yeah.
Man saw alcohol and he took it. That's it. That.
Yes.
Fair.
Clearly, we weren't drinking to enjoy the wine. We were drinking to drink.
Yeah. I think Yashish has seen me drink to drink.
Yes, I
Yeah.
have. I told him about how I told him the entire story of how you thought I was I was your senior.
Yeah.
I told him that entire story, and I told him about the bar we went to. So I mentioned.
Yeah, the Ainsworth, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
We have
like
to go
the
again.
easy, like, NYU spot.
Fran, hopefully, Brazil is God bless Brazil, and we can all chill in New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. But I mean,
Speaking of
like,
Brazil.
flights should start again soon, right? And like Brazil, like surely, how long is it gonna take?
No, students can get to the US now. So it should be, yeah, I should be able to get there in August.
Hey,
Do
let's
you plan on returning in August?
Yeah, at the end of August or early September.
Oh, yeah, at the same time I'll be probably moving into.
Same. I'm mostly coming by end of August as well. So yeah, perfect. Oh, bro, we'll have a good time. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, I'm down. There's last year where I lived. You're there. The
Yes.
East 11.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a good amount of supporters bars we got to hit up.
Well, I had no idea. I didn't understand your accent at all.
What?
After you asked me, oh Yashish, I live there, and you said something, it just sounded like I just didn't understand.
Okay, so I said, Yashish, you remember like the East 11 Liverpool supporters bar near where
Oh
I live?
yes, I do.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a bunch of good like different club like supporters bars in the area like that.
Yeah, that's perfect. That sounds great. And I'll get my public platform, Yashish. I will get my driver's license soon, so I will be allowed in that.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Yeah,
wait,
so-
guys, football. We have a lot of things to cover.
So, speaking of Brazil, because you brought it up, I just want to hear from you first.
Yes. Did anything happen related to Brazil? I don't know.
I don't know about anything happening.
Okay, a lot of negative things happened. Which one are you talking about? Politics, socially, economically, or
Surely not in soccer, right? Because I feel like nothing major happened except for fucking Messi winning his first international tournament in Brazil. And dude, here's the thing, right? I didn't even want this tournament. And now we lost to Argentina in the final. Okay? So this is not okay. I'm sad.
Okay, Fran. Okay, I understand the emotional connection. I felt the same way when. Okay, nothing related to football. India's not really. Regardless, I felt where I relate. But okay, give us some analytics. Like, why do you think Brazil lost? What did Argentina do to win? Because I see you must have watched the Copa America. See, for me it was like 5 a.m. in the morning every day, so I couldn't. I really wanted to, but I couldn't. So if you all have watched any games, tell us like what do you all think about the teams and how it worked.
I really only got to watch the final and then Argentina versus Colombia, so I don't have as much of an insight into it. Although actually, my one insight is that Emiliano Martinez is one of my favorite players ever. Yes, just the attitude.
No, he has big game mentality, right? The dude knows how to get into other players' heads. It's really impressive. But that's kind of how Argentina won. They didn't win by playing the most technically sound football. They didn't have the best tactics. They just had good mentality and they knew when to like control how to control the game without the ball. They defended well and they knew how to foul exceptionally well to stop momentum. And then so like this is maybe I'm biased, but like Argentinians know how to like make fouls drag on for a while, you know? They'll fall to the floor and they'll stay there for like 5 minutes and then someone goes and gets water and then they have a problem, you know?
May I interject?
Sure.
That is true, but you would also agree that Brazilians football players are prone to that as well.
Well, yes, but like we're prone to diving, right?
Okay.
They are prone to making dives the worst thing that has ever happened in the world, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
They're very, very dramatic.
Denmark people know about that.
Yes. But congrats to Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. They won. Yes.
Look, I mean, Messi needed this, right? This is like the one thing that, like, the one box he really hasn't checked since the World Cup, and no one expects that, right?
No. But if I may change subjects, Yashish, how do you feel about Southgate staying for the World Cup?
Here's the thing, right? I understand. Like, if I was the English board, and like, let's say there's a vote going on, like there's 6 of us and the 5 other people are voting, okay, Southgate should stay, and I go like, oh no, bring in Roy Hodgson, or Sam Allardyce. But I would understand that decision. Like, it makes sense. He's been there. The team trusts him. He has, like, regardless of the opposition or whatever, regardless of mistakes he's made, he has brought them to a semi-final, first final in their like ages, right?
Yeah.
And he has achieved things. So I totally understand the decision. But in my humble opinion, um, it's stupid. I because if you want to win, like if you genuinely want to be the best team in the world, you can't just settle for a manager like Southgate. The same thing with United, but it's different on the international stage, right? International stage, these tournament, you don't compete every year, right? Like club football, I want Oli right now, even though I know he's not the manager to win trophies, right? But I feel like he's the manager that can create a good foundation for this young team that can go on to win trophies when a better manager comes in. But for international football, it doesn't work like that. In international football, you bring in a manager with the mindset that he wins with this squad he has now. Like Southgate, sure, he's great at making sure these young players are like, he's bringing in younger players into the squad. He's scouting, like he's bringing players from not only the big teams, but he's giving chances to different kind of players and stuff like that. And he has gotten results. But again, I don't think he's the kind of manager who can win the World Cup, who can take you to the finals of the World Cup, or he can even win the Euros. Like, I would strongly argue that England did get a bit lucky at times in this tournament, right? Like,
Yeah.
the Raheem Sterling penalty could have easily not been given, and it just, I think Denmark, it was, Ukraine was a very good performance. I'll give them that. Like, so the Ukraine performance, there was no fault in it. It was perfect. He didn't make any mistakes. But it's Ukraine. Ukraine were arguably the weakest team out of the top 8, right? So it's you have to perform. I I see. I don't agree with the decision, because if you want to win the World Cup, you bring in a manager right now at the level of Luis Enrique or the level of Roberto Mancini, and you tell him you have 3 years. The World Cup is gonna come, and I want you to win the World Cup. You have this brilliant squad of players, generational talents potentially, but don't settle for a mediocre manager. That's it.
I think you said it best. Yeah. I wouldn't trust Gareth Southgate to like win a final. That's just all it is.
Devil's advocate. What if really this isn't a Tottenham Hotspur curse we're talking about, but it's a Harry Kane curse?
No, I just think Harry Kane is a victim of the curse. That's all it is.
Okay.
Harry Kane has won a league title in his career, by the way, just so you all know.
Yeah.
With some, who did he go to loan on? He went on loan a couple times, right? With one of them, they won the league when he was on loan.
Oh, good for him. See, he has something.
So it's not Harry Kane's problem. It's not. But okay, I have a few questions about the tournament. You know, we could do like a small award ceremony. You know, I think they deserve that. Who
That's
do you
fair.
think? Yeah, who do you think is? Let's go like we'll do the biggest ones later. You know, let's start like. Who would you say is like the biggest surprise for you? Which player like shocked you? I have an answer so that I can give you. So I think for me, Patrick Schick was magnificent. Like it's not like he scored like easy goals, right? He wasn't scoring tap-ins. He wasn't, and it's not just the fact that he was scoring goals. He was the center of their play. Like he could hold up the ball very well. He was making very good runs, and he had good vision with his passing and stuff. He was a complete forward throughout the tournament. And I think he's a man who has a great potential, and I think he basically showcased to the world what he can do. And I mean that goal, oh my god, like the audacity to not only attempt it but even like actually execute it, crazy. But yeah, I think for me it's Patrick Schick. But there were quite a lot of like contenders for players, some players that shocked the hell out of me.
A player who I usually don't think as highly of compared to your average soccer player. That definitely like I thought was a pleasant surprise was probably Jordan Pickford.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not a surprise player because we all knew he's talented, but if you know the disparity between how much I previously like appreciated a player to how much I did after the tournament, yeah, I think Jordan Pickford wins that.
Oh, big shout outs to him for saving Jorginho's penalty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was like mentality, you know.
Have you seen like the clip of him before the penalty? So like no problem. Like he's looking at Jorginho like no problem. Like he has this cold look on his face like you don't scare me, you know.
Yeah.
I like when I saw Jorginho come up with the pen and I'm like, I mean this is over, right? Like there's no way. But the best thing, like if you see that pen, like if you analyze it, what Jorginho and Bruno's technique usually is that they hop and they see where the goalkeeper's oriented to dive towards. Jordan Pickford psyched him. So he put his weight. Let me showcase it. So he puts his weight like as if he's going to the left. So he goes like this just when he hops. Right. So Jorginho, when he's landing, he's already ready. But instead of going there, he jumps to the like he literally uses that weight that he went in that direction for. He uses that to go in this direction. And that's how he saves the penalty. If Jorginho had put that into the side netting, he wasn't saving it. He did get a little lucky with Jorginho's penalty being a little like more central because Jorginho is like, oh, he's diving the other way, so he doesn't perfect the idea of like burying it in the bottom corner. So that really worked in Jordan Pickford's favor. But I think it was save of the tournament. What a save! Brilliant.
I want to say I feel bad for the people who live under you. In the room under you.
No, I'll be honest. No, trust me. I don't make that much noise. It's fine. I would have had a lot of complaints. The person who lives right under me is a very close friend of mine, so it's fine.
And I'm just yes, if anything it would be for your surprise player.
I'm gonna go with the goalkeeper as well. Unai Simon, is that his name, right?
Oh, Unai Simon, interesting. Yeah.
And for the same reason that you were lauding Martinez at the beginning, bro, completely wrecks the mentality of the guys shooting on his goal. And like when he made that mistake against Croatia, was it Croatia when he let the ball basically go into the goal?
Croatia.
Yeah, I think so.
He came back into the game like if De Gea makes that mistake, whatever team is playing for,
he crumbles.
right? This guy, he's just like, all right, big deal. Let's win this, and they win. And then he goes into the next round, saves 2 penalties. Like,
yeah,
this dude is really strong mentally. I was really surprised.
You know whose free agent value or like transfer value I think has like definitely shot up quite a bit after this tournament? I'd probably say Robin Gosens.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
I feel like a month or two in, like once transfers are really heating up again, I think we'll see his name like brought up a lot. Any team that needs like some kind of attacking boost in like the last minute.
So he he's not a good left back. That's the thing, right? So he plays for Atlanta, who also play a wing back system. So
Yeah.
he is a great left midfielder, and like he's a very attacking player. So when it comes to defense, he's not all that great. And you could see that against England, right? So they exploited, like you could see in the beginning of the like first 20 minutes. Wait, Robin goes in. Yeah, he was there. He was there. My bad. That Trippier found too much space every time. The goal itself came from. Wait, no, that was Italy. Oh wait, Italy was another. I was gonna bring that up about Spinazzola's missing, like being a huge issue for the in the beginning. But even against Germany, they found a lot of space behind of Gozens, right? And that was playing a little, that got a little problematic for Germany. And I think any team that would take him would be one that does not use a back four system. But that being said, I think he had a brilliant tournament. I think he is. I mean, that Portugal game really put him on the map, right? So yeah, I agree. So
Hey,
yeah,
what's your next set of awards?
what?
I said, what's your next set of awards?
Yeah, so that's what I was. So I believe the next one is who do you think is the best? I mean, we mentioned two goalkeepers that were surprises, but who do you think is the best goalkeeper of the tournament? Like, who deserves that reward?
I'd say Donnarumma, right?
Yeah,
It's hard not to
I would
him,
agree.
right?
Or Martinez.
Martinez.
No, he doesn't deserve a goalkeeper of the tournament, though, right? That's like.
I mean, in Copa America, I think he does, right? In Copa America, I think Martinez deserves the goalkeeper of the tournament.
Oh, I know I said that for Euro, right? But I'm saying, yeah, Copa, obviously.
Yeah, I think Donnarumma as well. I agree. I think he made some huge saves in general throughout the tournament as well. I think that was quite obvious. Okay, like let's go like defense at midfield and stuff. So be defender. For me, it's Maguire. I'm just putting this out there. I love Shaw, but Maguire. I loved Maguire. I loved Maguire during this tournament. I think during this tournament, Maguire, I didn't see him do any wrong. I really liked
What
him.
about Chiellini?
Yes.
Bonucci, not Chiellini. If I'm choosing between them, it's Bonucci for me.
Chiellini destroyed everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. Bonucci had the goal, but Chiellini was just a menace the entire tournament.
Dude,
I
and
mean,
then
yeah.
that's such a smart move.
The Bukayo Saka one?
The guy running on goal at the end.
Oh yeah,
That's
that,
perfect.
oh,
Yeah.
I don't understand why people are getting so raged about that. That's a genius move right there. By any smart defender worth his salt is gonna do that.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how you play. You need to stop.
Yeah, like yeah. I just don't get people who are calling for red. That was a clear yellow card offense, and he knew that when he made the tackle. But yeah, I mean fair. But I can't. No, Maguire.
No, wait, why still?
Yeah.
Everything, like, okay, he was aerially, I think he did a brilliant job. Like there was not if you look at every single tournament, right, even the goal that came from the corner, Maguire was not at all at fault, and it was more like a fumble inside the penalty area, and that ended up going in goal. Aerially, everything that came in, Maguire unparalleled. Okay, but again, he didn't really face any great competition, but I'm still saying, right, unparalleled. And I would say his passing range was really good throughout the tournament. He didn't really make any mistakes with the ball in his feet. Like he was really showing that, okay, he can play with, like, why United had bought him after the World Cup performance types. And I think he's just the Manchester United captain, and he deserves to be the best defender in the tournament. I think
Man fans are something else. You guys are an interesting group of people.
okay, jokes aside, I think it's Luke Shaw. I think the best defender, like, I mean, defense is all three, all positions back. I think for me it's Luke Shaw, because I think, I mean, see, firstly, Ukraine game, despite it being easy, like Luke Shaw from left back was dominant in that game. And even though it's just the Ukraine game, it was crazy how well he did. Again, against Germany also, he did a really decent job. I really enjoyed watching him play. Throughout the even like group stage, he was, I think, what's that guy's name? Ben Chilwell played the first couple games, and then Luke Shaw came in and played one game and played miles better than Chilwell. And Southgate realized that he was making a mistake. I think Luke Shaw is the best left back, and he probably put himself down as top 3 left backs in the world right now, based on current form. I genuinely think so. And at this tournament, he was I just loved him. I love watching him play. Like
The top
Spinazzola
three
was great.
fullbacks.
In the world, yes, top 3 fullbacks in the world. I genuinely believe that. Yes. Okay, name 3 players you think are better than him. Who on current form? I'm not saying like historically. Like sure, like I sure Marcelo is a better like left back, but
Okay, not even
on
Marcelo,
current
because
form, is he?
that's Marcelo's an example of someone who's like obviously fallen off, right?
Okay,
Like, whereas
let's think of someone who's
Couple years.
Renan Lodi, right? He's a great fullback, but no.
he's definitely
I
not
can't
better
think
than
of
Luke
a good.
Shaw, but
Okay, see, Spinazzola had a great tournament, but I think when it came to his defensive duties, again, he was not as good as Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw
Because he
can.
had Chiellini behind him. He didn't need to be.
Come on, that's. But
No,
who?
I agree. I think Luke Shaw had a great tournament, and I
Yeah, I'm
feel
just saying.
like
Yeah, I'm just saying based on current form. I'm not saying he is like on talent the best. I'm just saying current.
yeah, okay, that's fine then. That's fair.
Yeah.
I think there's some United bias going on, but that's okay.
No.
Definitely.
Okay. Just genuinely name 3 players who had a better like last like 6 months than Luke Shaw.
Well, see, 6 months is a lot of time, dude. You should have given me like 2 weeks.
Six months is since January. That's
Yeah.
so long ago.
Since January, yeah.
No, okay. On
Okay,
current
just because I'm struggling to think of one off the top of my head doesn't mean that it
There is
doesn't.
no one. Okay, I'll tell you something. I believe that Robertson is a better left back. Even on current form, he is probably at the same level as Luke Shaw. Okay, even though like Robertson's form right now is not like the best right now, but I still think he had again with Scotland, he was their lynch man. Is that the right word? I have no idea.
Linchpin.
Lynchpin. Yeah,
Lynchman is
I'm
terrible.
like, what did I just say? That I did not know that word existed. It just
No,
came.
Lynchman is awful. Lynchpin is the word.
Got it. So he was so I would say he's up there. I think Jordi Alba in just purely attacking sense is far ahead. Spinazzola and Jordi Alba, even Robin Gosens are 3 players who I believe are like ahead of Luke Shaw when it comes to attacking abilities. Purely. Even Chilwell is probably like at like Luke Shaw's level when it comes to attacking abilities. But it's the balance that Luke Shaw can bring, right? So he can bring like a great amount of balance in attack and defense, and he has this ability. Like he seems very slow. Like when you look at him, you think this guy is slow, but how he manages to somehow get ahead of his man. I don't know how, but he just does. Anyways, Luke. Enough of Luke Shaw. Arshad, who's your favorite defender of the tournament?
I think Chiellini already.
What about you, Fran?
Chiellini.
I think Luke.
We're back where we started. We were both saying this.
Okay, midfield. Do you think Jorginho deserves the Ballon d'Or?
No, Ballon d'Or as an award has fallen off hard if Jorginho wins the Ballon d'Or.
I swear to God. Oh my God. No, but he said it best. Jorginho said, if it's based on talent, then I'm not the best in the world. But if it's based on trophies won, then no one's won more or better than me. And I mean, that makes complete sense.
Fair.
I loved
I
it.
think
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the only reason he didn't win the best player of the tournament award is because he missed the penalty in the final.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like he was the best player on, not on like, again, not on talent, but consistently, he was the most important player in that squad.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's my midfielder of the tournament.
I agree. I feel like it's pretty straightforward.
But I feel like there was a person next to Jorginho that did not get the praise he deserves. Marco Verratti. I think Verratti, like if you like, I feel like Verratti is one of those players when he's playing in it. Like if you see like this tournament, especially, like if you watch the game, you won't notice Verratti that much, right? But if you watch Verratti, you'll see the game. If that makes sense. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like
I understand, yeah.
He has this great ability to like control the pace of the game. And then when he wants, and he's very like hardworking, right? So he's always getting into the 50-50s and he wins a lot of 50-50s. He's always making difficult tackles, trying to win the ball back. And he's a tiny guy. I would say he's like in terms of defensive abilities, he's a budget Kante, right? So like in defensive abilities, he's just like, he does the things that Kante does brilliantly, but he does them in his own like capacity. So Kante is there and he's there, but you can see him like do things that are very similar to that. But he doesn't do any of the flashy things. Like when he gets the ball back, he's not going to try to like dribble a lot or try to like he'll make the short pass, or if he has to control the pace, he'll slow down the pace by passing it back. Like he can really, I think he's very smart player. And but again, if I had to give like top player like midfielder of the tournament, it would be Jorginho. But I think because of Chiesa, Chiellini, Jorginho, Verratti probably didn't get the praise he deserves.
Yeah. No, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, on the official team, I think Pedri was selected as one of the midfielders. Do you think it was deserved, or was it a little bit of hype because it's a Barcelona guy, beginning of a new era, and all that?
I think it was deserved. I just don't think he's the midfielder of the tournament. I think being is fine for him.
But
I think it's adequate.
what do you think about? Wait, who did he play for? Yeah, what do you think about Højbjerg?
Oh, he was good.
Yeah, I think like Pedri was great, right? But I think there is a little bit of bias over there in terms of he plays for Spain, right? Spain in its very self, it's a great team surrounded by great players. Then he plays for Barcelona. He's a young player, so you know the hype you get from it. I do believe there's a bias, but I think there was some like team players from like smaller teams that probably like Højbjerg is the first like is one of the names that come to my mind that probably are more that I just can't remember. So I think sure he deserves to be in the conversation, but I won't say he outright deserves that place. Like I won't say he's the first name, like he's there for sure. I think people can argue he doesn't deserve it that time, but he's
Højbjerg was a
18.
great shout.
He is 18. Like that guy, I'm scared to imagine like what his potential is. It's crazy. The young players that like we found, like we saw in this tournament that like sparkled. Oh, brilliant! Just it's gonna be a great next few years, to say the least. Okay, so
Forward of the
finally,
tournament.
forward of the tournament. Yes,
You know my choice, right?
yeah, Lukaku.
Right.
Right. I mean, fair. I think, yeah, fair. Completely. It makes complete sense. I would, to be honest, I would probably give it to Lukaku. I think he was, I don't know what, I can't think of anything he did like wrong. He did against, who did they play? Italy, right? Against Italy, he did, I wouldn't say a couple of mistakes, but he did like miss a couple of half chances, right? But then again, you can't expect him to like have 100% scoring rate, right?
The chances he did miss, you also saw incredible defending on the other end, right?
Exactly. The 100%. Italy was, yeah, I agree. Yeah. So I think that's what I say. It's a half chance where the defending of the opponent team is crazy. So,
Yeah.
he
I
was.
mean, I think Chiesa deserves a recognition here, but I don't think Lukaku's a bad choice at all, obviously.
Do you think
Nice.
Sterling deserves to be in the conversation?
Best actor?
Okay, just ignore that one like Denmark moment, like overall, other than the Denmark moment. What do you think about his tournament? Considering how much pressure he was under, like when he came into the tournament, he didn't have a very good last 3-4 months with City. It wasn't a good time for him. But he comes in and he has this tournament. What do you think?
Attacker of the tournament, I wouldn't put him there.
I think it's a good shout because he scored a lot, right? But also it felt like he understood the pressure, you know? And that's something you should laud a player for. I wouldn't put him as like top winger of the tournament, but he's certainly up there as one of the best players.
I mean,
Definitely.
that makes complete sense. That makes complete sense. I would argue that Harry Kane had quite an underwhelming tournament, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think people expected much more from him, and I think if he did turn up in the way everyone expected, England probably would have won it. You know, but again, in the finals, it's not a player's mistake at all. No player, I would say, in England made it was all strategic. Even after scoring the goal, the way I'm sorry, getting back into that performance, but even after scoring the goal, the way they just dropped back and let Italy like control the pace of the game, control the ball, control everything. That was the worst decision you could have made. You can't depend on a 1 goal lead in the finals of a major tournament against one of the best teams in the tournament, like who've not. It just, I feel like England was so passive. So after scoring the goal, it was good night. It was just it was just annoying to watch. I think, yeah. So yeah, again, so it can't be a player's mistake because there's not, the players didn't go and say like, oh, we have one goal, let's just sit back, guys. Oh no, everyone just stay back. It was Southgate's, right? So it has to be like the players don't make such strategic decisions. So yeah, I think, anyways, back to the awards. Yes. Okay, finally, who do you think is the player of the tournament? Like who now it would be weird if it's not one of the 4 players we mentioned, right?
Right? I agree as well.
So wait, it's Lukaku is in the conversation. I would say Chiesa is in the conversation. Jorginho is in the conversation.
Do you think Chiellini is in the conversation?
No.
I know you would have put a center back there.
I would say Luke Shaw is in the conversation.
How's Chiellini not in the conversation?
Wait, if Luke Shaw, okay, I get why you wouldn't give it to a defender. I understand that. But if Luke Shaw is in the conversation, then Chiellini is.
Oh my!
He's the entire conversation in that case.
Donnarumma is in the conversation.
Yeah,
I would say Donnarumma actually like strong shout out. Like I would genuinely like give a, because again, goalkeeper, right? Goalkeeper being so decisive in the entire tournament. Like it's not just one moment or one game, because that's what usually goalkeepers are. He was decisive throughout the tournament, right? And I think, okay, so I have a question to ask, and I think it's a pretty obvious answer, but yeah, okay. In like a penalty shootout, if a goalkeeper makes a save, that's like who gets the credit? Is it like the goalkeeper getting the credit for making the save, or is it the shooter getting like being booed for missing the penalty? What's the, like, where does the seesaw
it depends. Let's say you're okay. Let's say this is the goal, right? And like, okay, I need more things to work with. But let's say this is the goal, and like the attacker shoots like this striker penalty taker shoots like down the middle, like this way. Then I feel like that's on the striker, right? Because you just kind of a low shot, easy place to get it. If it's like a wide, like, far right top corner, and the goalkeeper saves it, goalkeeper gets credit.
All right, fair.
I think we can also break it down into the mentality thing. Because if the goalkeeper psychs out the attacker, right? Like Unai Simon did, like Martinez does all the time. That's on the goal.
This is Mina. What an example.
Yeah. Or like when Pickford saved Jorginho's penalty, right?
Yeah.
Because he knew what Jorginho was going to do, so he just waited for it. That's on the goalkeeper. But then, like, when Donnarumma saved Saka's penalty at the end, I don't think that's on either of them, That's like on a manager who like fucked up a young kid,
Well, that's not even like, okay, I think the Sancho and like Rashford ones. I think Rashford, for example, that's on Rashford and also on Southgate.
Yeah.
Like about equally. I'd say Donnarumma's save on Sancho, I think it was a little more credit goes to the goalie there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The credit goes to the goalie as well, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because Saka didn't take it badly. He just it
wasn't a great penalty though, right?
It wasn't.
I mean, also, I think penalties, it's fine. But I think if the penalties, there's a lot of what ifs. Like, oh, what if Rashford's shot was like not like 5 centimeters to the right, that was going in. That would have been a beautiful penalty, if it was just a few centimeters to the right. But yeah, it's a lot of what ifs. I agree, and I think
I have a question though to follow that up. Let's say, you're in a penalty situation, and you need at least your first 5, and you have to choose from the entire pool of Euro players. Who are you taking?
Cristiano.
Okay, obviously.
Maguire, bro, that dude, you saw that penalty? He broke the GoPro.
Yeah, but it was one penalty though.
I know, and I'm just trying to give him props.
Okay,
I'm
so
taking-
Cristiano,
and Bruno.
Jorginho.
Yeah, I'm taking
Lukaku.
Jorginho. Lukaku. I'm taking Lukaku. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the 4. I'm taking what Jorginho, Harry Kane 5.
Oh, that's 3.
No, that's 3. Harry Maguire's not in the 4.
Yeah, no. I said Bruno as well. So I said
Oh, right.
Cristiano, Bruno, Jorginho. Who was the 4th? Lukaku and Harry Kane. That would be my 5.
I wouldn't put Bruno because he didn't take a penalty in the tournament.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't count.
Oh, so if you're taking only the people who have taken a penalty.
I wasn't thinking that way, but like that's a good spin on it, I think.
Right.
All right, cool, interesting.
So instead of in that case, instead of Bruno, how does Benzema sound?
Benzema's a good one.
But I don't know if I would. I think I would
He's a
take
pretty good
Pogba.
penalty taker
Over,
for-
I think I would take Pogba over Benzema.
Pogba over Benzema?
Like the Euros 2020 tournament Pogba over Benzema, not general Pogba. This tournament.
Oh. Yeah, okay, that's fair. I agree.
Sure.
Oh, that goal! I felt so bad for. Can we just give some credit to Pogba? Like for once, we don't usually give him credit, but can we like?
We pretty
I
much
think
never
this
do.
tournament he was actually pretty decent. Like not he was great.
He was great, yeah.
If
Yeah.
France would have won the world, like they were the favorites. If they would have won the Euros, I think he would have been in the conversation for the player of the tournament, right? He didn't put a foot wrong throughout the tournament. The only thing you can like debate that he didn't do well enough was his defensive duties, right? But I don't think in France he's supposed to do that, right? That's
Yeah.
not his role. So I don't think you can blame him. But fair, if people want to say that, they can. It's just I felt so bad for him. Right? In that tournament, it just pisses me off. Watching him play for France just pisses me off. Like he was better than Bruno was. He was better than who else? I mean, he was better than. I just why?
You're even like saying the defensive duties thing, but even then he tracks back in France far more than he does in menu.
Yeah.
Because I just think given a small game, like small sample of games like a tournament, he's willing to put the extra effort in rather than over a 38 game season.
But speaking of France, though, what did we think about the masterful decision of playing Rabiot as a left back? How do we feel about that?
He's too like tall to not have in your midfield, right?
He's just
He's too massive.
let me change that. Archit. He's just too much of a midfielder to be at left back.
Yeah.
Like it's like us playing Fred at left back. Like no, he can't do his job at midfield well enough. Why would he put him at left?
Rabiot is only built like just physically and frame wise generally for the midfield. There's like nowhere else I can slot him. He has the height of a center back, just not the abilities of one. Never put him on the wing.
Okay, I think that France game was just such. I was so happy. I mean, you love to see upsets when the team that's being upsetted is not your favorite team. So you love to see
Right.
that, right?
Yeah.
But it
Understandably.
yeah, but it just felt bad because to me, right, like I wanted to watch more of like France. It's fun to watch them, right? Like,
Yeah.
they have some good players who can give you some good moments of football. Where Switzerland can give you, they're fine. Like they're great and all. Like I like them. I mean, I don't know. Oh, who's that guy? Who's that? One of the better players this tournament. Was that Mbolo? I don't know.
Switzerland?
Yeah, it's for Switzerland. And the other striker from S, the dude who scored the goals against France.
Oh, Seferovic.
Yeah, Seferovic. Seferovic was really good. I had a good like he was really good. Mbolo was really good. From Sweden, Dolberg.
Oh yeah.
What a player, what a tournament. Even
Oh,
Alex.
no, Dahlberg is Danish.
Oh, my bad then. Yeah.
I think you confused the two.
Isak. Yeah. Isak was brilliant. Isak really was brilliant. Yeah. Even Lindelof had a pretty decent tournament, you know. He had a
Yeah.
pretty decent tournament.
So
So
their manager is very intelligent. I like their manager.
I agree. I like them. But yeah, I think there was some really good like performances throughout the tournament. But who did we decide on as the player of the tournament?
I say Jorginho.
Yeah. right? It just feels like the natural choice here.
Yeah.
See, it has to be an Italian, right? And for me, it comes down to Jorginho and Donnarumma. I just feel like when it, I don't know. I have a goalkeeper bias, right?
That's
So
okay.
I'm a goalkeeper. I feel like they don't get enough recognition, right? So I just purely based, like, I think they're both like either could. I mean, Jorginho seems like the one I would like logically go toward, but I would give it to Donnarumma. He had like a lot of decisive moments. Like regardless of how easy the penalty was to save, if you go in the right direction, he still saved the penalty, right? He went in the right direction. He Yeah, I think I would give it to Donnarumma as the player of the tournament.
That's fair.
Yeah. Okay, finally, there was one more award I had. What was it?
Best like U20 or
Oh,
U22.
biggest it's not an award, but it's a conversation. Biggest disappointment of the tournament. I mean, we can make it an award.
Yeah.
The Angel Di Maria at Manchester United award.
No, I don't think Maria doesn't deserve this. He has a trophy at home. He's relaxing.
Okay, Antoine Griezmann at Barcelona award. No, Bartomeu at Barcelona award.
Okay. Is does this go to a player, team?
It's up
Can I
to you.
choose?
It's up to you. Anything. It could be a manager, player, or team. It's up to you. Actually, I don't know.
France is an easy shot, right?
Yeah, but
I'm giving it to a. Yeah, France is an easy shot. I don't know.
But that's why I don't. Something not so obvious. You know.
If you're giving it to a manager, Ricardo Santos.
Yeah. Portuguese, right? No, Fernando Santos.
Fernando Santos.
Yeah, Fernando Santos. Fair enough.
Wait, Ricardo Santos, is that the Iranian manager?
I don't know who it is.
Anyway, so the Portuguese manager, Fernando Santos.
Yeah.
He's up there. If, like,
and to be fair, and to be fair, Deschamps is right there with him, right?
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Given, fair.
Also, given the reports that we've seen recently.
Can I say Mbappe?
Sure, but like,
it feels easy.
Yeah, he's a young kid. Let him be.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like, it's I think like if you put Holland in this tournament in the French team, Holland in this tournament in the French team, it's a very different like.
Outcome. You don't know that though, because it's not like France is at a lack of good attackers or strikers or anything, right? You can't just assume that just with a better, like Benzema played well, and like it's not like they have bad goal scorers. I just think, I don't know.
Did you hear the stories coming out about the French team?
Yeah, I was getting at that. I was saying like that's why I agree with Deschamps so much, because their locker room's a mess there.
It's a mess, dude. Like half of the team didn't want Benzema there. And then apparently the parents that went to the tournament were all feuding outside. So Rabiot's mom was fighting with Mbappe's dad.
Oh, okay. By the way, Rabiot's mom is supposedly like crazy. Every transfer window, there's like some weird article about that, or like something I read all the time about it.
Wow. Oh yeah. So it's there's French football's golden age is interesting to say the least.
Well, every team goes through like a World Cup hangover. I feel like only Spain didn't have it as visible.
True. But I feel like there must be someone else. Like there must be some other disappointment in this tournament. Like not an obvious one, but I think.
Well, De Bruyne.
Oh, I know. Can we say the not a player, not a manager, not a team, but the broadcasting companies?
Yeah.
I mean, firstly, the money, right? The amount of money that needs to be paid to watch the best sport in the world, right? Secondly, there were reports from all around the world in multiple games once in a while that, oh, why is this game lagging? Why does it keep going out and stuff like that, right? It didn't happen in India, but in London, apparently it happened a lot. So ITV, I think that they were broadcasting it. And a lot of the games kept like the issues in the broadcasting. And lastly, the Christian Eriksen incident, right? The way they were just like give the dude some privacy, you know, like there's a limit Like what are you gonna get by looking at him sitting like lying down? What's gonna happen, right? That entire scene was just very awkward to like in a way. It was very unnecessary, and it was entirely down to the broadcasting company to broadcast such thing instead of going directly to the studio in that given situation. Um, so yeah, probably. I mean, it's a shout, something not so obvious.
Yeah, for like a non-player, non-manager.
Yeah.
De
I can't fit a
Bruyne,
specific player as having been like a letdown, really.
well, De Bruyne, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
He didn't have a good tournament.
He had a good game, and he wasn't there for the first two games, I think. He had one
Yeah,
good game then. Then he was against Portugal. And then he was poor against Italy, I think, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I would agree. It was quite, but then by that like logic, even Bruno had quite a average
Yeah,
performance.
Bruno's pretty invisible throughout.
Like, he was very invisible. Like he got dropped for Renato Sanchez by the end of the tournament. And I understood the decision. Like he just wasn't working. His style just wasn't working with the team as Renato's was. So I would say both De Bruyne and Bruno had very underwhelming tournament. Whereas then there was Pogba on the other hand, who was having like if Pogba can replicate this, even for let's say 50% of the games he plays, right? Right now, I would say he replicates it for like 10% of the games he plays for United. If he can play 50% of the games he plays for United like this, United can genuinely become title contenders. I'm not exaggerating at all. Last
Mhm.
year, we just lacked that little bit of spark from just elsewhere.
Yeah, no, also, no, I don't think it's a stretch of a claim at all, just because I think in the last couple of years, the league feels so open now, right? At least with last season. We're like, Man City were better than most teams. They just had more cohesiveness. They weren't like far and away like stacked against everyone else, right? And so I think Man U was just, they're that little bit of edge away.
Yeah.
But
And if
have you
United
seen-
gets, oh, should we talk about transfers after this? I think I don't have any other awards in mind.
Sure. But
Oh, I was gonna say best like either young player or teenager, whichever one you want to do for the tournament.
Chiesa is the obvious option.
He has a Pedri, right?
Chiesa and Pedri are the two obvious options.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like to be very fair, Saka had a very good
Saka.
tournament.
Yeah, I was gonna say Saka is my third place. He had a
Oh,
really
he
good-
absolutely did. But like, it's hard to give him that award, given.
given the level of impact the other two had. Yes, I agree. Is there anyone else? I mean, from the smaller teams, Isak had a great tournament for like his like level.
How young is Isak at this point, though?
Like 21, 20. I'm not sure. Not that old. Let me see. Isak, Sweden age.
Oh, 21. Okay.
Yeah, 21. He's pretty young.
I feel like he's been around for a long time for some reason.
Uh,
I feel like I've played with him in like FIFA like 15 or 16 or something like that.
oh, Emil Forsberg. That's the other. I said Dolberg, right? Dolberg is the Danish dude. Forsberg had a really good tournament as well.
Incredible tournament. He was very good. Incredibly clutch too, which is like not something you usually assign to soccer players.
I agree. I completely agree with that. Yeah. I mean, see, okay, we forget that Donnarumma is young.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. He's been around forever.
It feels like he's been 21 forever. I think he's 23 right now. But it's just crazy how long he's been here for.
Mhm.
That's what happens when you blow up early like that. You have all this crazy hype. Like only recently, like I don't know. I remember seeing like that. Now he's probably older, but I remember a couple years ago seeing like Jack Wilshere's like 26. I was like, there's no way.
Right. But speaking of Donnarumma though, PSG next season, they're stacked.
Ramos, Donnarumma in the back.
Yo, Ronaldo's gonna be there. I think Ronaldo's gonna be there.
I think I don't think there's any hope for Mahube anymore. It doesn't seem like there is. And I want him to stay at Hube and win.
Can I
at
just
Hube.
say something? They're still not winning a Champions League. It's like the curse of PSG. They'll bring in the best players in the world, but there's always going to be someone who'll beat them.
What's the one player that is just the most like individually decisive in the Champions League though?
Cristiano. I mean, yeah, if he comes, then yeah, sure. If he comes, then yeah. If he comes, then he's gonna break the curse. Right? If he comes,
No, but I was thinking even okay, yeah. I mean, obviously Cristiano. I'm saying even Ramos is also a very like mentality changing player. I think that's what you need to bring to a team like PSG. Someone who's done it 4 times already.
can I? PSG, they have Kale. I feel bad for Navas. I think he's one of the most like disrespected players by his club ever. He is one of the best keepers in the world, and I'm sure no one will like argue with that. He is one of the, like, based on the performances he's put forward in the last 6 years, he is one of the best in the world. Then why is everyone trying to replace him all the time? Eh,
He's in a weird spot where like he's really good, but he's not. He's just not at that exactly like Neuer, for example. No matter how old he is, if he's good, he's good. If he's at his level, you stick with him, right? And so I think he's like not just under that, but I think he's in that like he's just not in that tier of goalkeepers where like you keep them until they're 40 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So every team is always thinking, oh, we'll need a younger guy at that spot.
Yeah.
Like we'll get a 21-year-old, or Courtois was like 26 or something, right? And it's always like we need to look at the long term, even though in the short term he's a phenomenal player, but it just never lines up exactly with like the club's vision.
I mean,
Also, Navas has one flaw that can really swing games. He's not great at positioning. Now he makes up for it because he has incredible reflexes. Might have the best reflexes out of
Yeah.
any keeper.
Yeah, I would agree with that take.
But sometimes he's in the wrong position and they concede just because he's in the wrong position, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, oh, one goal that comes to my mind that he conceded was against Marcus Rashford. So he was too. It's an international game. It's not a club game. So he was a little forward ahead of the goal, and what Rashford did was he saw the space, and Navas, like, for the distance that Rashford was at, like, a keeper shouldn't be that like off his line. So Rashford basically hit one of his dipping shots over. It's a beautiful goal, by the way. You should check it out. It's beautiful. But if his positioning was better, Rashford would have never tried that or never attempted that, because so yeah, I get what you're saying. Yes, it makes complete sense. And I mean, Ramos, Hakimi, Kimpembe, Bernat, I guess, on the left.
Marquinhos.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna
Yeah.
say midfield Marquinhos with Wijnaldum, Vera.
As well.
This is almost not fair. Di Maria, Neymar, Mbappe. Jesus.
No, I'm excited for this next year.
Yeah.
It feels like a FIFA roster.
It is
For
a
sure.
FIFA roster. It is a FIFA roster. Like, the only issue with the entire roster is Wijnaldum. Why is he there? Otherwise, it's
Poor guy.
Oh, I think Netherlands are. I won't say underwhelming. I think they lived up to expectations. Not much was expected, so fair enough. Anyway,
That's fair.
I think PSG. Okay. Anyways, what do you think about the other transfers and the rumors that are going on? Like, let's go to United, because obvious. There's a lot of stuff going on. We got Sancho already, just waiting for the announcement. We are linked with Kamavinga, which is brilliant. But what do you think?
Wouldn't United ruin him too?
Yes, we were. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, so please don't buy this guy.
Yeah.
And Varane, personal terms are agreed. Only official bid needs to be gone towards Real Madrid for 50 million, because there's good developments. I think United is making good progress. But what do you think? Do you think how is United's transfer window going on?
I think Sancho is already like it already makes it like you're to grade it like a good B plus at the very least, because that's like what you've been needing for a long time. But yeah, I think with Varane that pretty much seals it. You'd have like your back line is entirely set at that point.
Yeah.
But
although
if they sign Varane, I feel like their window is pretty much complete in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
But there are reports that came out that my man Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is trying to change the formation and style of United in this next season. So he wants to shift to a 4-3-3 instead of a 4-2-3-1 that he's been playing this entire tournament. So he wants to get rid of McFred in the middle and he wants to give Pogba more freedom. That means that either McTominay or Fred would be playing as a only CDM.
That's not gonna work, man.
It's really not gonna work. Because Pogba, if you're giving Pogba more freedom, that means you can't tell him every single time, and he's not going to come back on defense all the time. Bruno probably still might, but Pogba won't, and we know that.
But here's the thing: if you give Pogba more freedom, playing a 4-3-3, you are taking freedom away from Bruno.
Bruno, yes.
So like, I don't see. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always a loss situation.
So by saying that, like, how long do you try to make them coexist in the midfield before like you move on from one? Like one being Pogba.
Yeah.
So
I feel like. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so I thought that the Kamavinga proposition made sense, right? So, but to me, it made sense. So then the reports came out that Kamavinga is supposed to be that CDM.
Yeah.
Which would not really make sense to me. Because Kamavinga's strong properties are not his defensive abilities. It's his Verratti type Verratti type abilities. Verratti is not a CDM. Marquinhos is a CDM, right? So if that is true, then I have no idea how Kamavinga would work. Kamavinga would work if he's a replacement for Pogba, because then they are very different. Like then it works very well. If you think of a CDM, Bruno and Kamavinga, I think that works very well. I do believe that works very well. But Pogba,
it's a really risky business move if you're doing that though, right? Because you need to slowly ease Kamavinga in, because at the moment you're buying at Kamavinga's highest value and selling at Pogba's not lowest, because people know how good he is for France, but pretty low compared to what.
No, it is lowest because he only has 1 year left on his contract as well. So if he gets sold, it will be his lowest, I would say.
I'm sure though, whoever he transfers to, they'd probably agree personally that we'll sign an extension or something. I don't think any club is taking on the 1 year deal. I think he would want to be somewhere long term.
Yeah.
If I'm Pogba, I don't know why I'd want to stay in United.
Interesting.
United.
I'd be exploring moves out already.
We say that again.
Archit, what do you say?
Oh, I was saying, I agree. If I'm Pogba, I'm already like, I would be exploring my move out, right?
Yeah.
There's no real future at United.
Like, is it like career ambitions wise, the fact that he can't win anything types, or just that his the system and the team and he just don't work? What reasonings? Or everything?
So first of all, I don't think United ever did enough to really put him in a winning position in that squad. They never bought the players that they really needed. They never played Pogba in the best roles. Besides that one, was it that one Mourinho year? I don't remember. They played
the first Mourinho year when Nemanja Matic first season with us.
Right. Other than that, like Pogba is always asked to do stuff that he's not comfortable doing, and that basically like takes away from his whole persona, right? His whole talent gets hampered by the decisions at United. And then when they bought Bruno and Bruno became who he is, that also makes it really hard for Pogba to fit into that squad, because Bruno is awarded the freedom that Pogba needs, and you can't have one with the other. I feel like, at least not as presently constructed.
He doesn't align with the club's vision, like tactically in any way, and I mean not in any way, just that like you already have another dominant force in the midfield that's like immediately as soon as signing on, he kind of took like responsibility from you. I don't know. No manager he seemed to like click with or fully make it work or achieve any level of consistency. I think he has to know that like if I want to be the franchise player like somewhere, it's not going to be many.
I really like. Okay, imagine this. Okay, very out there, but imagine Pogba goes to PSG to play the number 10 role. Okay. So it's Pogba, then Di Maria on the right, Neymar on the left, Mbappe up top. Imagine this attacking four.
Competition has left the chat.
You know where I think would be a good landing spot for him? I think even though it's another high pressure club where things could go south, like if like you don't play well or well, I think Real fits very well for him.
I think Real fits very well for him as well. That's
Ancelotti will definitely use him to his full attacking prowess, not give him too much. Ancelotti doesn't give anyone that much defensive responsibility, let alone. And so I don't know. That also with the state they're in right now, they lost Ramos. They might lose Varane. They have no real like player to have an identity around. I think Pogba can be that guy. Hazard is, just eating. Like, it's only Benzema really that's like is a key figure on that club at this point.
fair enough. But let's say United signs. I mean, we've signed Sancho. Let's say Varane deal gets confirmed, and United buy CDM worth his salt. Someone who's very good. Do you see a 4-3-3 working?
Sure. It wouldn't be like, I feel like there would still be a lot of potential being missed on, but it could work. There's enough talent to work.
But on paper, that lineup will sound great, but it's up to Ole.
The balance would be an issue. And does Pogba stay if these like 3 signings like these level are made? Then you stay if you're Pogba.
If all those signings happen, I wouldn't stay because that kind of spells the end for you, right?
Yeah,
you don't want to have like a period of time where you're just stuck on the bench for like a couple months stretch. You'd rather just get that while like
fair.
You're still like have some like face to save. I don't know.
I agree.
So I mean, yeah, okay, that makes complete sense. Last question about Manchester United, the goalkeeper question. Who should be the number 1?
I think the number 1 will earn its spot in camp, right? Or in like the off season.
Yeah.
I think that would just determine itself. All
right. So now let's get on to something special. The Amazon Prime original, All or Nothing. Beginning with a 2-1 loss to Edinburgh. Then a 2-2 draw to Rangers. It's going to be a very interesting documentary indeed. Then, of course, Willian's Eden Hazard phase. Anyway,
so
we're talking about
we have started being Arsenal in record time. This is the fastest I've seen the train just fall off the track. Usually, like it gets to a couple stations and then like diverges a bit. This is out the gate. Like it's July. It's July and this is already looking rough. Okay, so the other thing is I'm less mad about the preseason losses because that happens sometimes. A squad that hasn't played together in forever and is just like kind of just adjusting after like whatever different tournaments and whatnot versus like some Scottish team that's been playing together forever. I can see just like some complacency and laziness and inconsistency happening there. And the Broad Rangers, again, it's pretty ugly, but you're going against a better managed team. I don't know what to say. But we're signing this guy, Ben White from Brighton, defender, for reported by like Romano for like 60 mil. And that's what's really frustrating to me. Because if that money is lying around, that could be devoted to anything better.
Wait. Say that again. 60 million for Ben White?
When Rafael Varane is being sold for 50 million. I'm just putting this on.
What?
Varane could be sold for 50 million. While
and they're supposedly discussing in the range of 67 mil for Ben White.
I heard.
And what I've realized recently is that Arsenal they don't not have the money. They just don't have good negotiators. 80 mil for. Like, where's that money going? How many agent fees can you possibly pay off? Right? Thomas Partey, 45 mil release clause. He's worth the money, I guess. But that's like your signing of the summer. I don't know how to put this. They just don't know how to like negotiate with the agents of actual like superstars, or, like world-class players.
You know what this feels like? When Liverpool bought Van Dijk, world record fee, right? And everybody was like, "What are they doing?" And Van Dijk was incredible.
Van Dijk had so much more of a resume prior.
Oh yeah. No. But here's what I'm saying. Next summer, United went for Harry Maguire. Not nearly on the level of Van Dijk. Sorry, Ashish. World record fee for him, and that's a letdown. But okay, we'll make do, right? And then Arsenal do the Arsenal move. Ben White, as if he's your Harry Maguire, right? United go one step below Liverpool. Arsenal goes one step below United. I feel like that's
You know,
Every
the,
red club just keeps on just throwing money at
the
center
thing
backs in worse
the
and worse
thing with
ways.
Maguire is that the reason why he was like bought for that price is because he had a really good World Cup, right? Ben White,
yeah.
what is the money being like? What is
Was
it
he
based
was
on?
he wasn't even present at the Euros?
Yeah, like, what is it all being based upon? Oh
I don't
God,
know.
knows, God
I
knows.
just think it's a negotiation thing. I think our like finances are in such a twist that we pay like random agents to like figure out these deals for us, and then it amounts to like
But
60,
y'all
70
did
merchandise
make
race.
some signing today, right? There was an announcement of someone, I don't know who. Konga, some weird name like that. Konga.
I know what you're talking about.
Wasn't it the racism thing?
What?
Is it the German player that was like there were racist chants at him?
I didn't know that. I know
I don't know. That's
about a transfer, but I didn't know
are you
about
talking
that.
about the Olympics? So the in one of the Olympics pre like warm up games, the German team players they faced racism. They walked off the field. I don't know what the name of the players were, but yeah, I heard about that. That was I just can I just say like racial discrimination in sports. It just you be it's I just don't understand people. I just don't get it. Like, why would you bring a person's race? Why would you hate on someone because of their race when it's all about the sport? You know, like if Rashford and all face criticism, like Rashford faced criticism, oh, you hit the post, you know, that is not fine. You are a professional footballer. We expect better from you. Fair. But when people start saying racial slurs at him and saying that that's why he's playing bad, he doesn't deserve to be in the English football team because he's this, he's that. What?
And it's not like they're deciding like let me go out and be tweet something racist at Marcus Rashford did, right? Actually, they are deciding that. It's more that it's not like just some impulse whim or something, right? It's more just that like especially like we see it in England, right? Just because they lost in a big final, but in a lot of countries, like this passion for like soccer runs so deep that it can like trigger this like very internal like racism.
Oh, for
I
sure.
agree, I agree. I think even Lewis Hamilton faced racism after he won the British Grand Prix, like because of like some controversy that happened during the thing. So he won after touching wheels with Max Verstappen, who was winning the race at that point. So their wheels touched, and so people, of course, they started blaming him for it, and he faced racism for that. Which again, just don't get it. You know, it was a racing incident. Wow. It is I don't get racism. I just don't understand how stupid someone needs to be or how like insensitive someone needs to be. It just makes no sense. But anyways, Arsenal, talking about sad things. Uh,
Wow.
Wow.
I had to find a transition from the depressing mood to the happy mood. Yeah, come on.
I was like, how's he gonna segue?
But yeah, Ben
Because they're
White,
saying
Ben White for around 60 mil or even higher than that. It makes no sense. It makes zero sense. But it would be the most Arsenal thing ever. I'm not saying Ben
yeah,
White is not a great defender. He's max maybe worth like 40 mil, maybe 35 maximum, right? It just makes no sense
yes.
to be paying that much money for him.
We also signed, yeah, you're right. Sam Albert Lukonga
Lakanga, yeah, that guy.
from Anderlecht, I guess the U20, yeah, Belgium U21 team. I'm fine with that. I like these signings because they're low key. They're like no price at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Potential. I'm happy with that. And then we're also linked with Manuel Locatelli from Sassuolo. I'm not as familiar. I feel like I've heard his name a lot, but if we make that signing, I'd be really happy. 'Cause I hear
Um, yeah, and any other interesting signings? Jules Koundé from Sevilla rejected Spurs. So there was an agreement between Sevilla and Spurs for the signing, but Koundé was the one. So Koundé is also linked with United. He's linked with a couple of other big clubs as well. I have a question for you though. Do you think Spurs and Arsenal have lost the ability to like attract big names? I'm not taking a dig at you. I'm just asking genuinely. Like,
No, I'm smiling because like I kind of do think so. I've been thinking this for a long time. Where like I remember hearing these like reports where like other agents and like officials for other clubs when they do these negotiations, Arsenal tends to be like the laughing stock of these transfer negotiations because they just don't know. At least this regime that currently governs Arsenal, they don't really know how to approach it at all. They don't really know how to handle like transfer business, and like I don't know because I guess when you have an American-run soccer team, right, it's going to change the way we approach transfers. It's a different philosophy doing like controlling things, and so they just don't know how to negotiate. They don't know how to like approach the agents of like big players. I don't know what it is, and I think Spurs are the same way. They pay like what 50 mil for Lo Celso, whereas Man U pays that for like probably world class player. I don't know.
Wait, but I feel like Arsenal got a little disrespected there because did Spurs ever attract like the biggest names?
Yeah. Okay. Wait. I do want to. Yes. Thank you. We have done that. Like we've signed very big names in the past. We've signed like we have the Ozil signing. I don't know. Alexis Sanchez, right? Spurs have never done it.
Yeah.
We
have the Sol Campbell signing, big signing from Spurs too.
Yeah. All right, I have a joke to crack. On the topic of Spurs, there's this one quote. Okay, I think it was Di Maria, was it, or someone? I don't remember who. Okay, exactly. That said, it really hurts when you're at the top of a game and your agent comes and tells you that you're being linked to Spurs.
It was Di Maria.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my god, the disrespect. But it makes complete sense, right? Like, let's say you are Jules Kounde, right? You're being linked to United, Spurs, La Liga, other teams, and is there any reason for any of these teams to choose a Spurs team like Spurs? And is there any reason for a team in any player like Heung-min Son? Or of course, Harry Kane has expressed his opinions, but he's just too expensive, so no one's really bought him yet. But is there any reason for players to be in Spurs who want to achieve like greater things, who have the ability to achieve greater things?
So I thought about it recently, and you're saying with the attracting free agents, right? Varane, right? He knows that I can go to Man U and achieve some level of Premier League like glory, and maybe win a Premier League title, just prove that I can do it there. And I'll have a great exposure. It'll just be good for me. Like even if Varane's not that great and they don't succeed much, it'll still be good for him, just generally for his brand and whatnot. Whereas like for the same 50 mil, Spurs need to devote that 50 mil to like Lo Celso or something. I'm just using that as an example. He knows that like I just need to get regular starting time and get a real role, and I wouldn't be able to do that at Man U, whereas I definitely can at Spurs. And so I think that's what separates you from deciding should it go to Spurs or not. It's just literally like, will I start? Because even like this guy you're talking about from Sevilla, Kounde, right?
Kounde.
Yeah. He knows that like he won't start immediately at Spurs because there's still players who are ahead of him in like the pecking order. So that's not a benefit. He also knows that if he like does get his way in the lineup, it's not like they're gonna win anything. Whereas that would be the case like if you got into the Man City lineup, you can play some real Champions League play, get some real experience. So I don't know. I really do think stuff like that hurts them from getting those free agents.
I agree with Archie. But let me throw in a different rumor. A lot of stuff's been talking about Jack Grealish maybe joining City. Do we put any level of like, do we trust that?
I just don't see why.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot of competition there.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to say it Aston Villa, but there's definitely places where like he could really be like okay. I know we won't sign him. I know this won't happen because we won't spend the money to. He doesn't want to come here. But hypothetically, picks an Arsenal or something like that. Even though he knows he can finish higher with Aston Villa, picks Arsenal right, in this hypothetical situation. He at least becomes the face of like the entire club at that point.
Yeah.
With City, just kind of becomes another player, and like I don't know. There's obviously an in between Arsenal and City, like Chelsea or something, of course. But I don't know. I just think City doesn't make sense for him.
If he does go to City, he would be very similar to the signing of Riyad Mahrez. Because back then, when Mahrez was signed, it was the entire same conversation, right? Like, why? Like, why would Riyad Mahrez want to go into a team that has so much competition? But Mahrez showed that he has the talent, he has the ability to, okay, maybe he won't go into the team and be the first like regular starter, but he has the ability, and now he is one of the main players of the in the forward line, right? So I think it's very similar with that with Jack Grealish. Grealish would want to go to City. If I was Jack Grealish and City comes calling, I would personally go, right? Because I feel like Grealish, like if you have belief in your own abilities and you know for a fact that if I'm in a better team, if I'm being managed, coached by managed like Pep Guardiola, I can not only take my game to another level, I could possibly become one of the best in the world. And like you need other. I think like the elite players, right? The players who want to become the best in the world, they need to have that mentality. And if an opportunity, like I think Grealish age-wise is at the point where he needs to take a step forward. Like, I think he's been at Aston Villa for too long, and it's like if he stays at Aston Villa for any longer, there is no growth, in his career, in his life. That like if he wants to like give himself even a small chance to grow as a player and improve his legacy, he needs to take that like City step.
He at the very least needs to like entertain the offer and the prospect of moving, just so Villa has some pressure that like, hey, we need to act fast, sign people now, so he has like reasons to.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise Villa. But I mean, that being said, I think Aston Villa players, I think Douglas Lewis had a pretty decent tournament with Brazil. I think Emi Martinez, amazing tournament. Grealish had a very decent tournament himself. Ollie Watkins had a great season last year. I think John McGinn did a very decent job with Scotland this year. I think in general, Aston Villa players have like shown that they can be good enough. Again, their limit probably is a top 8 finish. That's the issue. If Grealish is okay with being in a team that is just trying to get into Europa League or trying to get into the like that spot his entire life, I mean, then fair enough. Like, cool, stay there. But if he wants to be in the Champions League, he wants to play, try to win those top. I mean, I think every player that gets into football has that like dream, right? So I think age-wise and ability-wise, he is 100% at the level of taking that step, and he should 100%.
Yeah, I think you did kind of convince me because the same thing about like being a regular starter and
Yeah.
like if you are that level of player, you
Yeah.
have to have confidence in yourself that you will be able to start.
Exactly. Like if he was 22, like if it's like a guy who's 22, I would understand why he would choose to stay. Like that makes complete sense for him to stay. Like someone like Ezri Konza, and if City comes and asks for Ezri Konza is 21. Ezri Konza should not move. He should stay.
You should wait, yeah.
Like he should wait. So I understand. Like, and plus Ezri Konza's ability is still not at the level of playing for the City team.
No, Grealish is great, and like I think it's fair for him because I'm looking at it as a perspective of fan. I'm like, oh, there's Silva, there's Mahrez, there's Sterling. But as a player, he needs to believe that I'm better than those guys. So
Exactly. I think Mahrez did. And Mahrez genuinely believed that he can be better than all of those. And I think he has become, I think he's the number one right winger right now, ahead of Bernardo Silva. Like, I think it can genuinely be argued that Riyad Mahrez is their number one right winger ahead of Bernardo Silva. Phil Foden.
Bernardo Silva doesn't need to stick to the right necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the beauty of being in City. I would say that's one of the beauties of Manchester City, that so many players can play so many positions as well. So that is
actually Grealish could develop massively as a player. It has so many different like opportunities to try things. Like
exactly 100%. But any other big transfers that have happened? Messi taking a 50% pay cut to stay at Barcelona. That's a huge thing, but he's still going to get paid the entire like amount. So earlier it was going to be 3-year contract with the same pay. Now they made a 6-year contract with 50% annual pay. So he's still going to get paid the same amount. It's just 3 years later.
That's fine. I mean, I don't think he's concerned about the money as long as it's guaranteed to him anyway. I don't think he's like, right now, otherwise my family will be in shambles.
But apparently there's going to be a swap. There's a swap deal between Antoine Griezmann and Saul being discussed. What do you think about that?
I want that to happen so badly.
You don't, or you do?
Fits really well for Barcelona. Like honestly, like it'd be like they need the midfield. Like yeah, they have what Pjanic and I'm missing up a couple names, but and Atletico already won the title. The only way to like instead of make a title like a sporadic rare thing that happens every couple of years if all the stars align. If you want to be a dynasty, just get Griezmann back. He was already phenomenal for you. You know he'll fit in your system.
But doesn't losing Saul basically hamper your title winning chances?
I okay. So my thing on that is Griezmann is very much investing in the attack because still have Felix and Suarez right there. But I don't know if the replacement is Griezmann, I think
Was-
it's worth the cost, right?
Atletico did buy Rodrigo de Paul from Argentina to play that midfield role. Now I'm
But
not Saul and De Paul aren't. Yeah, sorry.
yes, De Paul is a number 10.
Yeah, but I
Saul is
feel
like a number 6, 6.5, and number 8.
yeah. I think Atletico so
Obviously-
far only made one signing, right? That's De Paul. Have they signed anyone else? No, right?
No, I don't think so.
So it would have been Koke, Saul, and De Paul, and I think who else do they have? They have that Lucas Torreira. I think Torreira is there, but he's not in the contract.
Sure, yeah.
There are a couple of the guys. They need to figure out, like, can I just say Thomas Partey? Like, why?
He was just the victim of terrible circumstance.
Yeah, I feel.
The universe aligned in the worst way for him, as did Arsenal. Like, what can he do? We want to go to a club that's more high profile, which is fine, and like he move for himself, and it's not his fault. But like,
yeah,
none of this can
yeah,
really.
I get that. I feel like it would make sense if Atletico. So Atletico plays 4-4-2 right now, correct?
I
Yes.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they play 4-4-2 where Felix used to keep dropping back and stuff like that, right? And Morata and something like that used to happen. Wait, what? Morata is you? What am I saying? Yeah, Suarez. Yeah. So if they bring De Paul, who's a number 10, they can't play a 4-4-2. All they'll have to play De Paul as a 6 or an 8. So what if?
Well, would play. I think he would play either on the wing in the way Koke does, right?
Oh yeah,
Or he'd play in Felix's role.
interesting. That's no.
And also they have Llorente who can cover for defense and also play on the wing.
Yeah, I feel like you have to trust that Llorente can step into Saul's shoes, right?
I think he'll be able to.
Yeah.
He won't. Okay, he won't be a 1-to-1 replacement, but he can cover a lot of what like needs to be done. I mean, he was great at Real too. I don't know. I really don't know why. I get why they sold him because they have Casemiro there, but like, he's a phenomenal player.
Yeah, no, that makes sense then. I think it would make sense. Like, I feel like for like Saul for Griezmann is not necessarily negative for Atletico. I think it makes a lot of sense considering that fact that like sure Suarez is great and all, right? But he's still old. Like you need to realize that. He's not gonna necessarily like you can't expect him to replicate the same performance this season. So if you bring Griezmann, to be honest though, right? He hasn't been terrible over the last, I would say, latter end of the season. He was, if you
He
watch,
hasn't been used properly.
yeah, he hasn't been used properly. One, and second is that he at the latter end of last season, he actually started performing pretty well. For France, also, he wasn't necessarily bad. He did his job. He was pretty decent. That's the thing, right? But what you expect from Griezmann is to be brilliant. He just isn't doing that right now. He's doing his own fundamentals. That could probably be his like devil. Like he's trying to get back to that level. That we can't say, right? But I still think like if Griezmann comes back to Atletico and he finds his spark again, that could be a huge deal. Like even if Saul is the sacrifice for that.
Okay, I can see that. I feel like you guys convinced me. I want to see that now.
I'm feeling so happy today. I have convinced you all about everything. So this is the last thing I want to convince you all. Maguire is the greatest defender on the planet.
Okay. While we're at it, Ben White's the second best.
Right.
Second best is Victor Lindelof. Hear me out. Okay. Can anyone in this world, can any defender in this world pull off a dress the way Victor Lindelof can? Just think about it.
For
Wait.
that,
I have an answer. Might not pertain to the sport of soccer. It still counts. Dennis Rodman.
Who?
Dennis Rodman.
No, wait.
You have defenders who can pull off a dress. That's the perfect example.
Oh my god. Jesus.
Okay, then let's say this. Does any defender have a better nickname than Victor Lindelof?
Oh, Iceman. To be honest, his nickname is actually very cool. It's actually crazy. Like,
That's-
I don't know. I don't know why he got that nickname, right? Because if anything, he's quite the opposite. I have seen him so many times crumble under pressure. It's not even funny. But Iceman, what a like if I'm a defender and someone calls me Iceman, I would be on top of the world.
That's a banger of a nickname, bro.
That's such a good nickname. I don't like even Cristiano or Messi don't have such good nicknames. Like it's
They
crazy.
have really weak nicknames, actually. They have terrible names. It's just Messi or Ronaldo, or like CR7.
CR7. For Messi, it's like goat. So fair.
Yeah, I guess. But like, you want like a, there's no, you know,
Messi is
go.
not the goat. This is not a conversation we're gonna have. Messi is not the period.
I think next time we need to have a segment on the best nicknames in soccer.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Or we should make like a list of 10 players and we should give a nickname to each of them.
All
I
right,
like
that sounds like a plan.
Yeah. But I think have we covered most of the big transfers?
I'd say so, yeah.
I think we probably didn't, but I can't think.
I'd say we've covered most of the Arsenal menu.
Yeah, we covered most of those that matter, United ones.
Yeah, it's just the United ones.
Oh, but
I
yeah.
don't think who else is being linked to leave.
Who has Chelsea? Like, what transfer business has Chelsea done? What transfer business has,
Chelsea
City
got a
done?
massive bid for Chiesa rejected, apparently.
Yeah, that I heard of. I think the Chiesa bid was rejected, and Juve said that he's untouchable. Like, no amount of money is gonna get them to sell him. Fair enough. I wouldn't do that either. I can't think of anything else. Interesting. Has nothing else big happened this summer?
I just think the tournaments have taken up all the airtime right now. You know,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
in the next week we'll see a bunch of rumors flying.
Let me just get on to Fabrizio Romano's page. Yeah. It's about like where's the phone? Okay, I don't have
Let me
my
pull up
phone.
Twitter.
I'm such a nice kid. See, I don't even know where my phone is. I don't spend my time on phone. My mom can never use the.
I guess Brahim Diaz is staying with AC Milan, but that's pretty like
Oh yeah, that's just.
transfer news. That's just like a club doing business. Yeah, I just think we've been so occupied with international football.
Yeah.
Coutinho Milan is a rumor, but I have zero faith that that's actually true. Justin Kluivert joins OGC Nice. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, are you guys familiar with FC Wonder Kid on TikTok?
No.
No. What?
It's okay. It's just it's this Portuguese guy, and so Manchester City are interested in signing Nuno Mendes, but every time he says it, I guess it's a running joke because he always says Nuno Mendes, which I guess is the Portuguese way to pronounce it. But even Portuguese people will be like, that's a little bit like you're adding too much of a spin on it.
Yeah. But is Nuno Mendes a real person?
Yeah, apparently it's pretty good.
Oh.
Like 50 mil.
Oh Jesus.
So they haven't made the signing, but that's the general talk.
So wait, is he the third best defender in the world?
All right. Yeah, so Ben White, Harry Maguire, and Nuno Mendes. All right, until I guess we have to wait for transfer to heat up a little bit more.
So that's pretty much it.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
I
got
think with that-
distracted. I got distracted. I'm sorry.
With that, I think we should probably wrap up.
Yeah. I wait. What have we done? I took a small dig at Oli by calling him a poor. I mean, I stand by my statements. Apologies either way. Though.
Well, I'm sorry to Norway because you guys didn't make it, and we've been talking about the Euros for a long time. So
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, so you can't end with a dig at them. Like we can't say sorry and make fun of them at the same time. Anyways, bye bye guys. Have fun. Good
Alright, see you guys.
night.